Monty had been at Lüneburg since the 18th of April, when a car full of aristocratic German officers sent by Dönitz arrived at Monty's tent on the 3rd of May, a delegation led by von Friedeberg, and the carload of Germans offered to surrender the army of the Vistula to Monty that day. But Monty said no, he didn't want just the army of the Vistula. He wanted all the available German soldiers in Denmark and in Hanover. So the German party said they'd have to go back to talk to Dönitz about it, and so they got back in their car and left Monty's tent that 3rd day of May, heading back to Flensburg. The army of the Vistula were the forces under Himmler's command when he'd been waiting in his train at Schneidemühl in anticipation of the delivery of all the stolen Jewish gold. And after Himmler had taken his train from Schneidemühl to the SS sanatorium at Leichen on the 13th of March, the army of the Vistula had been given to Gotthard on the 20th of March, and Gotthard surrendered to the Americans a month later, on the 28th of April, and the next day Gotthard was replaced by von Tippelskirch on the 29th of April, and von Tippelskirch immediately surrendered to the Americans. So that same day Hitler had given the army of the Vistula to Kurt Student, the same Kurt Student who had planned the Eben-Email assault on the 10th of May in 1940 and had been accidentally hit in the head by friendly fire when he looked out a window while arranging the surrender of Belgium. Kurt Student had spent the next year recovering from his head wound, and he would speak slowly after that. And he'd returned to service in the Normandy theater, and when Himmler's army of the Vistula was surrendered to the Americans by Gotthard on the 28th of April, and again on the 29th by Tippelskirch, Hitler had given the army of the Vistula to Kurt Student that same day, and the carload of Germans arriving at Monty's tent on the 3rd of May had orders from Dönitz to turn Kurt Student's army of the Vistula over to Monty. And it had been only 7 months since a glider from the 101st Airborne had crashed near Kurt Student's headquarters on the first day of Market Garden, putting the entire plans for Market Garden in Kurt Student's hands by 3 p.m. on day 1. The day Monty said no to the offer of merely the army of the Vistula, he told the carload of Germans on the 3rd of May that he needed 1 million German soldiers to help him push back the Russians, who had overrun whatever hiding place the army of the Vistula had abandoned in the east near Schneidemühl. And Monty might have planned to use Hitler to boost the morale of German soldiers, who would now be fighting alongside the British after the separate peace, and Monty could bring Hitler back to the fatherland off the submarine that was keeping him safe at Lübeck. And when the carload of Germans came back the next day to Monty's tent, they brought with them one of the 3 paper copies of Hitler's last will and testament to satisfy Monty's need for legal papers, and SPEER just wanted what was best for Germany.